Hello, BookTube. Hello, friends. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth. And today I thought I would share with you my reading plans for the month of May. I have a total of 14 goals / projects / categories, and all of them are reading goals except for one. One is a health-related goal, and I'll share that with you at the very end. And so let's just get started. Now, I was so excited that the BookTube spin was going to be announced this morning. In fact, I strategically planned this video for today because I wanted to know what the result was going to be for the BookTube spin before I showed you what my TBR was going to be, because I, of course, wanted to include that book in my May TBR. And interestingly enough, number 1 was picked. And I don't know why I always think that number 1 is the least likely number to be chosen, because it really has the same chance as any of the other numbers. But for whatever reason, I just felt like it was not going to get picked. And so I put a book in my number 1 spot by the same author as my round number 1 pick was, and that is Miss Read. So now I'm going to be reading another Miss Read book, which is totally fine and great, in fact, because I am just now finishing my round 1 pick. You were supposed to have read it during March or February or March, but I had so much going on that I just couldn't do it till April. And in fact, I didn't even really start on it till the end of April, like the last week of April. But I'm finishing it now. It's wonderful. I'm enjoying it more than the first 2 Thrush Green books. I'm reading news from Thrush Green. So anyway, what got picked is The Market Square by Miss Read. This is book 1 in the Caxley Chronicles, which is a duology, but I'm pretty sure that the Caxley Chronicles are linked with the Fair Acre series, because in the Fair Acre series, of which I've read 6 books now, Caxley is mentioned quite frequently. So I think there's going to be some connection. I don't know if there'll be any overlapping characters or not, but I'm really looking forward to this. And I think, it's just serendipitous, because I'm finishing one Miss Read book, and while I'm in the mood for that, I can just go straight into this one, and I can get it read and just be happier for it. So I'm excited about that. Okay, so then my next project is really just to tell you about the challenges and how I plan to accomplish the different challenges for the month of May. So 2 of them are challenges that I'm affiliated with, and one of them I just learned about today. And it's actually going to be harder for me than I think for most people. But we'll get to that in a minute. So the 2 challenges, if you've seen my announcement video, are #BookAdayinmay. That's a challenge that my friend Elizabeth Tyree and I have been doing for several years. We have challenged ourselves to read a book a day in May, or at least to finish 31 books in the month of May. Now, I haven't always done it. Some years I do better than others. Last year, I read more than a book a day for the whole year, but I think the year before that, I didn't even get, I don't even think I got like maybe 25, 27, something like that done. So, some years are better than others, but it's always just a fun goal. And the reason we started doing that was because we were both participating and also sometimes co-hosting Middle Grade May with Akos from the channel Akos with a K. She hardly does any videos anymore. She just doesn't have the time, but her videos are all still up. She's got a lot of really wonderful middle grade reviews and things, and I would certainly encourage you to go and check out her channel, and also Elizabeth Tyree's, because we are still going to be reading some middle grade books for the month of May, even though Akos has officially retired the Middle Grade May readathon. So several of you, when you saw my announcement video for Book a Day in May, you said you couldn't do a Book a Day in May, but you're still going to read a middle grade book in honor of Middle Grade May, and I appreciate that so much. I am certainly going to read several middle grade books, and I've taken my list of monthly goals and tried to incorporate as many middle grade books into those goals as I can. So I have got quite a few middle grade books on my list this month. In fact, at least half, more than half will be children's books, but I've got another book a day goal that are a little younger than middle grade, so I'll go over that in a minute, but I will be very middle grade heavy this month. Not completely, because for #Book a Day in May, you can read any book. You could, you could read any book, and the goal is just to try to finish 31 books by the end of the month. Now, in order to participate, you don't even have to read the books. You could just post a book a day. You could do a book review a day, however you want to participate. But our original goal was to read a book a day, but we've expanded it just a little bit this year. So those are the two that I have been planning to do all along. But I heard about something this morning that intrigues me, and it is from Hicks Picks Books, and she is doing Mood Reading May. Now, I am not a mood reading person. I am a little bit, but for the most part, I'm very super goal oriented. I love to have a TBR. I like to stick to it. I like to have a plan. I like to know what I'm going to read. I like to check things off the list, and I thrive on that. So for me, just to randomly pick a book just because I feel like it, in order to do that, I feel like I have to have checked off all my other goals first. So what I'm going to try to do is somewhere in the middle of the month, I am going to try really hard to just pick a book that's not on my specific May TBR, that doesn't meet any specific goal, and just read it just for fun. That gives me some anxiety. It really does, because I know that by doing that, I may have to forfeit something that's already on my list. Now, I know you guys are out there going, what in the world are you talking about? Because I really feel like the majority of people out there are mood readers. I think that's true. I see a lot more comments from people saying that they're mood readers than goal-oriented readers. Now, I know Sarah from the Bookish Knitter, she's goal-oriented. She's talked about this at length, and I am too. And I know there have to be a few more of you out there who are. But the reason that Hicks Picks Books is doing the Mood Reading May is because she said she's been in a reading slump, and so she's trying to figure out how to get herself out of the reading slump. So I think that's a great idea, definitely. So I support that wholeheartedly, and I'm just gonna let you guys know that I'm going to make a goal to try to do that. Now, it may not be anything really long, because that might have to be the compromise. Maybe I'll pick a very short middle grade book and go from there. Or maybe it could be an audiobook, right? I could pick an audiobook at random, or not even at random, just as the mood strikes me, and I wouldn't have to spend my sit-down reading time doing that. Would that be allowed? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Okay, then my next goal, I don't have anything to show you, but on April 30th, the Sunshine State Young Reader Award finalists for next school year are going to be revealed, and I will make an effort to read some of those books during the month of May, at least the middle grade books. Now, they are going to reveal the elementary, the middle grade, the high school, and there's two different elementary levels. So there's the picture storybooks, and then the elementary, older elementary, and then middle grade, and then high school. So I have been reading the middle grade books for several years, ever since Katie was in middle school, and now she's a senior in high school, and I really enjoyed it, and I plan to continue that as long as possible. Now, I won't have as much motivation this year as I have in the past, because the librarian from Katie's middle school, we just got the announcement about her retirement party, which is coming up on a Saturday later on in May. So that is a little sad, because although I'm super happy for her, I know that things in the library at that middle school will never be the same again. And that makes me a little sad, because she was fantastic. Now, I wish her all the best. And if you want to see what I'm talking about, Miss T is the librarian, and I did a video, actually the very first Sunshine State video that I ever did, I did with her. We went to one of the nearby public libraries, and we did a video, and we introduced the Sunshine State books of that year. So I'll go back and find that video. It is years old, and I will link it below. And I would love to share that video with you, because those books are great. And ever since then, in fact, I need to make a playlist of all of my Sunshine State wrap-ups. I will try to do that. I may not get it done by the time I upload this video, but if you're watching this several days later and you look at it and you still don't see that playlist, remind me that I said I would do that if you want to see what the Sunshine State books have been. And usually I don't I don't do a video to introduce the books. I wait until I've read them all and then I talk about them. But I was thinking this year I might do a video to introduce them all, maybe, if I can get a hold of them. Sometimes they pick a few books that have not been widely distributed yet, and then they make it to the list, and then the publisher goes, oh, okay, I got to get on the ball, and then get those books out. So if I can get them, or at least the majority of them, I might do a video, especially if there's a chance that I end up not reading all of them, because I don't have to prepare for Book Bowl. I don't have to write questions or anything, which is kind of sad, but in a way, it might be good because that will relieve my TBR a little bit. I might just pick 5. Although, I don't know. Now I'm rambling again. Sometimes I look at the list and I think, oh, I'm not really interested in that. And almost every time I end up enjoying almost all of them. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, the next 3 things are reading projects that I set up for myself this year, and I have a separate video about each one of these projects. Of course, they're subject to change. My author binge project, I did switch out one of the authors for both March and April, and that's fine. I still just have a goal to binge read several authors. That's one of my projects, and then I have another project to finish 12 different middle grade trilogies that I had only read the first one of, middle grade or YA, and then another goal to finish at least 21 different series for my Get Serious About Series Challenge, or hashtag Serious About Series Challenge. So for the middle grade trilogy that I want to finish, I own one of these books, and I've been trying to find a copy of book 2, and I haven't been able to, so I checked it out from the library. The trilogy is Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of Nim. Now, Robert C. O'Brien is the author of that Newbery winner from the 70s, and then I believe this is his daughter who took up with the series, carried on, and wrote 2 more books. Her name is Jane Leslie Conley, and book 2 is Rasco and the Rats of Nim, and then book 3 is R.T. Margaret and the Rats of Nim. So I hope to read both of these. I don't think I can find these on audio. I haven't searched far and wide yet, but I am assuming that I'm going to have to read those in print, and if I only get one of them done, that's fine. My first print book that I start will be my BookTube spin. I want to get that one done and out of the way and not wait till the last minute this time, but then these 2 will be on the list pretty soon thereafter. And then my other challenge is to read to do some author binges. So in honor of middle grade May, I wanted to pick 2 middle grade authors that I have several books by on my shelf. And I thought I had more than this. Well, actually, I do have more books by Sharon Creech than these 3, but a couple of them I'm not really interested in rereading, and one of them I am. I have read Ruby Holler and really, really enjoyed it. She also wrote Walk Two Moons, which is a Newbery winner. I've read that twice already, so I really want to read a couple of other of her books that I have not read. Chasing Redbird is one of them, and I think all 3 of these books are on audio, on Scribd. I also have The Great Unexpected, which is one of her newer books in as far as I read a lot of Sharon Creech when my kids were little, and this one wasn't out yet. So it may not be a very new book now, but it wasn't out at the time that I first read a lot of Sharon Creech books. And I really enjoy her as an author. I don't even know if I have them all marked on Goodreads because it was, 15 years ago when I read a good many books by her. But I remember really enjoying Ruby Holler, and I've been wanting to reread it. So these are the 3 that I plan to read by Sharon Creech. And then I also have several books on my shelf by Gary Paulson. Now, I've read the entire Brian saga, and I loved it. And I have also read, I believe, both of the Lawn Boy books. I may have only read one of those, but I love it. I have both of those. I need to check and see if I've ever read the second one. Anyway, I've got all these others, and this is not even all that I have, but these are the ones on my shelf that I can find on audio, either on Hoopla or Scribd. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to limit myself to these. these, but these are the ones I'll be most likely to listen to. Now, I might not even listen to all of these on audio. For instance, Tracker is very short. I don't know if I want to use a whole borrow for this. I could just probably sit down and read this in one sitting. So it just depends. Caught by the Sea is also very short. Harris and Me is another one. The Winter Room. This is it a Newbery Honor? Yeah, Gary Paulson has had several Newbery Honor books, and I don't think he's ever won the Newbery Medal, which is too bad because he is a fantastic author. Dog Song, also another Newbery Honor book. And then this one, I believe, is book 2 in a trilogy. I don't have the other 2, but I believe they're all on either Scribd or Hoopla. And this is called Sarnie, A Life Remembered. I can't even remember what the first book is called. Let me see. Night John, is that it? It might be Night John, because that's blurbed on the back. Anyway, these are all possibilities. I want to read at least 3 of them, and I might just try to read all of them. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, then the next project is Get Serious About Series, and the goal is to finish and make progress in as many series as possible. So I have 2 series that I want to finish in the month of May. One of them is a middle grade series, the Last Survivor series. I've just got this one book to read. This was on my BookTube spin list, and it didn't get chosen, but I'm going to try to go ahead and read this anyway. Then I had this on my April TBR, and I didn't quite get to it. It's already checked out on Hoopla, but I've still got another 10 days left on it after the beginning of the month. This is Miss Julia Knows a Thing or Two by Ann B. Ross. This is book 22, and book 23 just came out, I think, on April 7th. I am in queue for it. I have not received it yet, and I probably will have to read it in print, but I do want to read, I want to listen to this on audio, and then I want to read the most recent Miss Julia book. It is called Miss Julia and the Happily Ever After, which kind of sounds like that might be the last one. I don't know that for a fact, but it kind of sounds like it. So we shall see. If it is, I'm going to be sad, but I have my whole Miss Julia collection down here that I can reread. So I love, love, love this series, and I'll be excited to read the most recent ones. Okay, then moving on down the list, I have my Newbery project. So I've kind of been stalled a little bit. I did not make any progress in the month of April on my Newbery project. I am currently reading Terran Wanderer by Lloyd Alexander, book 4 in the Chronicles of Prydain. When I finish this, I'll be able to read The High King, which is the Newbery winner, and I've got one other Newbery winner from the 60s to read before I can do my Newbery winners of the 60s video. So I would love to say that I'll get all those done this month. I might, but for sure, I want to finish this book and possibly go ahead and start and or finish The High King. That will be my goal. And then, and of course, I will also be reading some other Newbery Honor books by reading the Gary Paulson books. So there will be several Newbery-related books that I will get read. So then the next project is book club. Now, I said at the beginning of the year that I was going to work to try to stay ahead, and I lost some momentum in May, I guess, or March. And I did read ahead some, but they were not the books that I needed to read for May. So I still have not read either of the books that I need to read for May. But one of them I actually read several years ago, but I may reread it or at least listen to it again on audio. But the one I have not read is Anxious People by Frederick Bachmann, and I definitely need to read it. And at the same time, this one came in, both of these on CD. I will probably, actually may try to listen to this one first, because I think this is going to have to go back sooner. Even though they came at the same time, if it's a book club book, our library lets us keep them until book club, which is not till the 3rd week of the month. And this one, I don't have any good excuse to keep, so I'll probably get it done sooner. And it's because it's going to be hard to get. I've got my hands on it now, and it's going to be a long time before I can get it back, I would think. This is Sunflower Sisters by Martha Hall Kelly. It's book 3 in the Lilac Girls series, although it's a prequel, because Lost Roses was a prequel, and now this one goes farther back. This is set in the Civil War time, and I hope I'm going to like this. I didn't love the other two, but I really do enjoy reading about the Civil War era, so I have high hopes for this one. And then the book that my mystery book club is reading is Shoot, Don't Shoot by J.A. Jance. I have read this in years past. This is book 3 in the Joanna Brady series. So we picked this one because it was going to be hard to find any copies or very many copies of books 1 or 2. And so they went with this one, and I told the library staff member who also facilitates our book club that I think it's fine to go ahead and read this one, even if the rest of the members haven't read the first 2. Because in the first book, Joanna is not the sheriff. She is, her husband is killed right at the beginning, and he's running for county sheriff. So she runs in his place and gets elected, and then the first book is just her first case, and then this book is her next case, and she's going to police academy. So, or to some kind of training academy. So, this is interesting, and I think it'll be fine as far as, catching people up to speed and being able to read this one. I don't remember the exact, case in this one, so I'm going to go ahead and probably listen to that on Hoopla, just so I can kind of refresh myself before book club. All right, next project. Let me consult my list. Okay, so I mentioned hashtag book a day in May. I am going to try to accomplish that in at least 2 and possibly 3 ways. I am going to set a goal to read at least 31 books that can be middle grade or adult or audiobooks or whatever. And then I am also going to read with my daughter Emily a Dr. Seuss book every day. We have 15 of them. Well, actually 13 of these are by Dr. Seuss, and the other 2 are inspired by Dr. Seuss and have Dr. Seuss characters. So I just went and pulled these all off her shelf to see how many we actually had. Got 15 of them. I'm not going to go through them right now. But, we've got your basic ones, like the Cat in the Hat, and Cat in the Hat Comes Back, and all that. And I may do, for sure, I'll do a Friday Reads where I will mention what we did. And I will post one every day on Instagram, the one that we're reading. So that's kind of the third way I'm doing Book a Day in May, is I'm going to post at least something every day on Instagram. And it will be the Dr. Seuss book and maybe whatever else I'm finishing, so you'll see something. And if you haven't followed me on Instagram, it's LizziefayeLovesBooks, just like my channel name. And I usually always put in the at the bottom of the description of every video the links to my Goodreads page and to my Twitter, which I hardly ever use, and Instagram. So check that out. Okay, next project is paid subscriptions. So right now I have 2 paid subscriptions. I have Scribd, which I think is a really good value, and I have Audible Plus. I only have Audible Plus because I did have Audible Escape, which was the romance package, and when that ended at the end of last October, they gave us a 3-month trial of Audible Plus. Now, I still to this date have not found a lot on Audible Plus that I want to read or listen to. I did listen to the first 2 books in the Dixie trilogy by Lisa Patton. I've talked about those. I loved those. And I discovered that there is a good many from a series that was on my radar. And so before I decide to let Audible Plus go, I want to listen to this series. This is the Quilts of Love series, and they're all by multiple authors. There are at least 20 or more of these on Audible Plus, and the series only has maybe 4 or 5 more that are not on there. So I've listened to one. It was by Carolyn Zane, called Beyond the Storm, and I thought it was fantastic. This is book 5. I've just got a handful of these on my shelves, maybe like 3 of them, and I think I just hauled one in my Christian fiction book haul. These are faith-based books, and this one is number 5, Threads of Hope by Krista Allen, and I'm just very interested in these, and my physical copies that I own, I will pass these on to my sister, but I'm going to hang on to them until I can get through the series. So those, I'm going to make a concentrated effort. As far as my audio reading, I want to really get my money's worth out of Audible Plus, because my 3-month trial period has been up now since the end of January, and I have not really listened to very much since then. So I have not really been getting my money's worth. Another book that I noticed that had been on my wish list that turned up on Audible Plus is North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. And so that's another one that I want to listen to. Although, now that I think about it, I think it showed up on Hoopla. So I don't really have to hold on to Audible Plus just for that. But these, I think, are only on ebook on Hoopla. So in order to get these on audio, they may not even be on ebook on Hoopla. I'm not even sure now that I said that. I definitely want to listen to these, and since I love the first one so much, I'm excited. Now, there are multiple authors, so the next 2 or 3 may be stinkers, but still, I'm intrigued, and I want to listen to that series. So, what I started out to say is, for my paid subscriptions, I want to make sure that every month I get my money's worth, basically, and at least listen to 2 or 3 books on each of those services for for that month. So I've been guilty of having Scribd and sometimes not listening to, my limit. Now, Scribd says they're unlimited, but we all know they cut you off. They cut off most of the good stuff after, 2 or 3 books. But I need to be using those 2 or 3 books, and, I need to be listening to them. So that is my goal, to do that. I'm not exactly sure what I will listen to on Scribd. In fact, I haven't, I think I've only listened to 1 book on Scribd this month, and I just started another one yesterday, and I have one that I was reading on Hoopla and it expired, and I think it's on Scribd. So if it hasn't disappeared before the end of the month, I will pick it back up and try to finish it before the end of the month as well. I'll let you know all that in my wrap up. Okay, so I want to get the most, get my money's worth out of my paid subscriptions. Otherwise, I shouldn't be having them. And my TBR jar. So I put my last 3 TBR jar books in my BookTube spin list, and none of them got chosen. So I'm going to try to get at least one of those read this month. This is kind of linked to my next thing. Well, let me just move on to the next thing. The next thing is my devotionals. So I am going to go a little lighter on my devotional reading for the month of May, because as you guys know, I am just finishing reading the Bible in 90 days. So that has been a whirlwind. It's been a great experience, and I'll probably do a whole video on how I feel about that now after having done it. I've still got just a few. I have Jude and Revelation left to read, and it's the 28th. So, I'm on track to get those done. And I finished one of another devotional book that I had been reading since January. I finished that up in mid-month. And then I've been reading a book for Sunday school that I've just been reading a little bit along. And I decided to go ahead and finish it up. I have 1 chapter of that left. And then I have my Journey magazine. So I will go ahead and pull out another Journey magazine for the month of May. In fact, this is it, yes. So I'll be reading that. And then I think I'm not going to jump right into another devotional book. I have some other inspirational type reading that is on my currently reading list that I really want to finish. I want to get back into, and that's kind of my next goal, is to work on and finish some of my current reads. So anyway, all that to say, this is not an inspirational book. It's not a Christian book, but sometimes after I finish my inspirational reading, if I have time, I like to pick up some other nonfiction book and read a little bit along, and in small increments. And I have not done that really in the last 3 months because I've spent so much time each morning reading the Bible. So this one is the chunkiest one of my TBR jar picks left. How to Say It to Girls, Communicating with Your Growing Daughter by Nancy Groover. I am going to go ahead and put this in my morning stack and work to read this month. And if I get it done earlier, then I might go ahead and tackle one of my other TBR jar draws. I really want to do another draw I'm getting to where, it's like, okay, it's been several months now. I need to do some more drawing, and so I'm really getting antsy to get those done. So we shall see. That's on my goal. That's the TBR jar book that I'm going to read next. And then as far as devotionals go, like I said, I'm not going to jump back into more devotional reading, but I did notice that Krista from BooksandJams is doing Mere Christianity, a read along from May, and I thought I had a copy of that. I was looking over here at my Christian nonfiction, and I can't find it. I found The Four Loves by C.S. Lewis. I just spent a year with C.S. Lewis by reading this book in 2020, and I really enjoyed it. It's so deep and philosophical and thought-provoking, and it made me want to read all of the books that are excerpt in this book. And one of those is Mere Christianity. So I definitely want to read it. I may have a copy somewhere. I gotta look around, and if I don't, I'll just get it from the library, or I'll see if the used bookstore has it. I kind of like to have my own copy. So anyway, I want to participate in that, and then not start another big Christian book yet until I just kind of give myself a breather. So that being said, there are some other things I'd like to do. Maybe at some point listen to the Bible on audio. I have not done that in a long time. I read the Bible in 90 days, all in print. So, for me, that was pretty amazing. And I'm excited about it. I mean, I could not have done it except through the grace of God, because it was a huge undertaking, and I'm so thankful that I was able to do it. So our pastor has been doing a series of a series of teaching through the Bible that was supposed to go hand in hand with us reading through the Bible on Wednesday nights, and it was all live streamed, but he ended up having some health issues, and I don't think he's actually finished the series. I have not always gone on Wednesday nights because reasons, and so all of the ones he's done so far are on live stream, and I've got the handouts for those. So I want to go back now and watch those live streams and fill in the handouts and kind of go back over what I've read in the last 3 months by doing that study. So that's going to kind of take the place of another big devotional reading project. And I feel like I had something else on my notes that I was thinking of doing. I guess that was it. Just that, and at some point maybe reading the Bible on audio, listening on audio, which I haven't done in many, many years. I used to have the Bible on tape, and I just wasn't utilizing it enough, and I ended up giving it to an over-the-road trucker. And my mom, who had bought them for me, she was like, those were really expensive. I said, Mom, he's going to get much more good out of those than I was getting from them, and I'm not sorry that I gave them to him, because I felt like it was the right thing to do. Okay, I'm almost done. So devotional TBR jar, finish. So then the other big goal really is just to finish up some of the current reads that I've had on my currently reading list on Goodreads. I've been hovering at about 12 for the last few months, and I'm more comfortable with about 6, maybe 8. So that means there's been at least 4 on there that have not been getting touched. Well, 2 of them were fine. I had planned to have these on my currently reading list, most of the year, because I wanted to give a nod to the Year in Mitford project that is hosted by Kate Howe and Rainy Day Reads and Literary Labors. And so I said I was going to read through these books a little at a time, but I have not touched these since January. I don't even think I read any of them in February. So I'm going to put these in my morning stack. Since I'm not doing a whole lot of devotional reading in the morning, these are very inspirational, very wonderful, and I am going to sit down with one or the other of these every morning after I get my smaller amount of devotion and Bible reading done. And then a couple of the other books that I mentioned have been on my currently reading list, like Terran Wanderer. That's definitely going to get finished this month. And another one that I started in January, and it just didn't fit any of the other readathons I was doing, and that is True Love and Homegrown Tomatoes by Juliel. I am halfway done with this. I hope I don't have to start it over at this point. But this is the beginning of a trilogy that I've been wanting to read forever, and I just didn't have an occasion to pick it back up. So I definitely want to finish this. And I've still got a decluttering book that I did pick up the other day, but I didn't actually get any farther in it. I've got a couple more here that I didn't show you. Let's see. As far as my current reads, I'm trying to think what else is on my currently reading list. Most of the other things I'm going to finish, or at least I plan to. And so, anyway, that's a goal. When I was talking about get serious about series, a couple of other series I'd like to make progress in. I have The Runner by Cynthia Voigt. This is book 4 in the Tillerman cycle. This is on my TBR for middle grade May. And then in order to get my money's worth out of Scribd, I would like to continue on with the Dearest Dorothy series, or the Welcome to Partonville series. And also, by the time I finish the month, I will have read the first book in this Shipshawana Amish mystery trilogy. And I don't even know the name of the first one. But anyway, I've started it on Scribd now, and all 3 of those are on Scribd. So I will continue on with that trilogy and listen to The Perfect Square. So that's just a few other random things that I have on my list. I have done a lot of Amish book reading for the month of April, and it's just been really fun. And that was just a trilogy that I wasn't able to read many of. Like I said, I just started the first one, but my sister sent me that one to read for Amish in April. So doggone it, I'm going to get it read in the month of April. So anyway, that's about it now as far as my reading goes. Now, I mentioned that I have one goal in relation to health, and I've kind of got 3 very specific measurable goals to go along with that, but I don't normally talk about this on my channel because I just like to kind of keep these kind of things private, but I know that I need some accountability, and I don't want to pay for Weight Watchers. So if you go back and look at my very earliest videos, you will see that I am much thinner than I am right now. And that is because prior to starting my channel, my daughter and my daughter Emily, it was recommended for her to go on the ketogenic diet for seizures, to see if that would help her seizures. And at the time, I said, well, I'm going to do it too, because how will I know how she's doing if I'm, eating what I want and I'm starving her? I need to have some empathy. So I did it with her, and her and I both ended up losing 40 pounds. And it was not long after that, it was really during that I started my channel. And I was so happy with that weight loss. And I was just thrilled with it. And then I let myself go, and I did not continue to figure out where my middle ground is as far as maintaining the weight. And I always said that if I could get back to there, I absolutely will not get back to this. And it's not even so much that I care about my looks. I do care about that a little bit, but it's really for my health. I will turn 57 on November 1st. So May 1st is exactly 6 months until November 1st. So May 1st is my half birthday, and it's the perfect time to get started. So I realized, you may have seen on Instagram back in near the end of 2020, Katie and I, well, really the whole family, we were doing something called the 6 Fix Challenge. We had 6 things that we were trying to do every day. And I realized that it was too much. I could not do all 6. I could probably do 3 of them. Well, 2 of them were things that I had already established, so that was not a big deal. One of them was to do a 10-minute, devotional, meditation, or whatever. One of them was to make your bed. Well, we always do that. I always do my devotional. So really, it was 4 things. It was drink a gallon of water, walk 10,000 steps, exercise at least 5 times a week, and follow some kind of diet. So the steps were the easiest thing for me to do, and even that was hard to do 10,000. So what I have decided I'm going to do, starting May 1st, really starting now, is my goal, my definite absolute goal, is to walk 6,000 steps every day, and I can track it on my phone, so I have to carry my phone with me, because I don't have an Apple Watch. Katie's got one, but I don't. 6,000 steps, and as far as because I really want to establish that as a habit. And I've already established a pretty good habit of having, cutting out all soda. I rarely ever have a soda, like a Coke. And So so that's already established. So I think it works good for me to just pick one or two things and say, okay, I'm cutting that out, rather than, and it's not to say that I'm not going to try to follow a larger overarching diet. I will, but my absolute nose, I am cutting out ice cream and I am cutting out cookies, because those are my downfall. I cannot eat just one cookie. I will eat half a package. And I cannot just eat a few bites of ice cream. I have to eat, the whole Ben and Jerry's, or, you know, giant bowl full. So that's what I have to cut out. And I think that will get me started. It'll give me that kickstart. And then, so that's for May. And then going forward, then for June and July, I'll work in exercise, not just walking, but some other exercise, a more specific diet, or I'll come up with some other dietary things or whatever. So that is, I'm telling you this right now. And I am going to, I'm going to type here how much I weighed as of today. I didn't think that I had gone quite this high. I thought it was about 5 pounds less than this number that is showing on the screen right now. And it's sad to say this is the heaviest that I've ever been. When I was full out pregnant with Katie, I didn't even weigh nearly this much. And the other fun thing is that a couple of years ago, when I was talking about this with my husband, I said, if I lost 70 pounds, would you shave your beard off? Because he's grown this beard ever since Disney cast members were allowed to grow a beard. He's had a beard. And his hair is not gray, but his beard is gray. And I said, you would look 10 years younger if you shave that beard. Not that it matters, but it might be nice, one more time in his life to shave the beard. And so I said, if I lost 70 pounds, and not that he cares or anything, but, I said, would you shave your beard if I lost 70 pounds? He thought about it for a minute. He said, yeah, if you lost 70 pounds, I'd shave my beard. So I have that to motivate me and just to get healthier. I felt so good when I was thinner, and my clothes fit better. I was excited to shop. I didn't just shop for books. I could actually shop for clothes. And I just felt better, less fatigued. And, if I stay the weight I am, I will probably have to have knee replacements. And not that they're really bothering me right now, but every once in a while I'll kind of feel a little twinge. And I think, I need to save my knees. I need to just take off the weight. So didn't mean to go into all this detail, but that is that's my other big goal for the month of May. So you are free to ask me about it if I don't mention it during the month, or by the end of next month if I forget or whatever. I need you guys to hold me accountable and say, hey, how you doing on your weight loss or whatever. And I will hopefully happily tell you that I am doing great. So that is all for this video. Thank you so much for sticking with me for well past 30 minutes. Goodness, I don't even know how long this has been. And I appreciate it. This is, I'm excited about May, and I hope you are too. So let me know if you were joining in on any of the challenges that I mentioned, as far as the Mood Reading May, or our challenges of Book a Day in May, or Middle Grade May even. And let's just chat in the comments. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.